A little
Yep.
low.
Hey, everybody, it's your girl, Orthodox B, and I'm on the road today. So my co-host, Azam, is going to take over. Go right ahead, Azam. It's
All right,
all
all right,
yours.
all right, family. We are here. We are here back at Bring It to the Table. It is going down. We got something brand new coming at you. A brother that's been doing this thing for a while, Jeffrey Clark, the former D1 player, now basketball referee. And our topic today is going to be winning at the game of life. And before we get started, once again, we want to thank Sister Author Doc B for what she does here. She's doing it out the world. Don't forget about her books. Buy the books. Support us. I'm excited. This is my first opportunity to be on Bringing It to the Table. And I get an opportunity to set it off with the brother Jeffrey Clark. We just going to go right into this. We ain't going to pull no punches. Again, we come here to be straight, direct. You know what I'm saying? What is life like coming from places of struggling and where we at now? We're doing what we've been doing, and now God has blessed us, right? Let me just say this real quick, but we going to Jeffrey Clark, right? If you've been gifted and God gives you another gift to live life, your gift back to God should be how you live that life. So Jeffrey Clark, give me something real briefly, like before this basketball referee thing, what it was like as a child before you knew what you were gonna do with your life.
Well, I'd just like to say good evening, and I just want to thank you, Brother Zam, you know what I mean, for co-hosting. And I just want to, congratulate, I guess, Dr. Burton. I don't know whether or not I should call her Felicia, call her Doc Burton, or call her Grandma Dynamite.
Come on
And
now.
I just want to,
Come on now.
I just wanted to drop that in there to say, the
Oh,
book.
my God.
Yeah, the book was tremendous, Felicia, and
Oh, my
it just
God.
showed a whole lot of perseverance, a whole lot of courage,
Mm.
and I would recommend also that everybody get that book, man, and I'm sure Brother Azim,
Oh,
you'll say the name of the book, but I just wanted to get that out there and just thank you both, you know what I mean, for
oh,
allowing me to
Absolutely.
be in your presence and to just
oh.
carry this message, man, to people that they can overcome anything. But as a child, I was a middle child, Brother Zam, and I had two older brothers and two younger sisters. And I come from a family of sports background. My older brothers and my father was my heroes. You know what I mean? And coming up as a child, back then in the '60s, there was a lot of gang violence, and I just thank God, you know what I mean, that he oversaw, our family because for whatever reason, the brothers that was out there gang warning and everything gave us a pass,
Mm.
and because we were, trying to do something with our lives, and they realized that, and we're grateful, you know what I mean, as a family, you know what I mean, that them brothers allowed us, you know what I mean, to be a part of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America,
Wow.
and that's where it all started, and through the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, R.W. Brown Boys Club that was at Ninth and Columbia Avenue at that time. Now it's Cecil B. Moore Avenue. That's where I was mentored. We were mentored. You know what I mean, as young men to become productive members and to become a person that mattered. Growing up, of course, everything was competitive. I had a mother that was very supportive, a father that was supportive, and of course, my mother was a cheerleader for my father back in high school.
Okay.
So that's where the excitement, in our family come from, and the support that we talk about giving back. As I talked to you prior to the podcast, that it's important that we give back, that we reach back, that we support. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
quick
Our those.
question, because you said something relatively important. You said you was the middle child, two younger and two older, correct?
Correct.
What's that like? Because I know they have it, in the family spectrum. They have these different things, the mascot, the lost child. Do you have any experience that being in the middle? Because here it is, you got a role model, the two youngest one, then you got the two older ones that you might want to role model after. What's that like being in the middle?
Well, I think it early on they set good examples for me, Brother Azim. You know what I mean? I've always wanted to be like my brothers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
One was very athletic. Dana was very athletic, and my brother George was very articulate. So I had an uphill battle, man, from day one. You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I just thank God today that I can look inward and understand that I did the best that I could.
Awesome.
And being the first one, in our family, you know what I mean, to get a college degree. That was my, motivation. You know what I mean, to say, well, look, hey, I could do something that they didn't do because it was
So
always
you
competitive.
excelled over the two older ones.
Yeah, correct.
Stop playing. Come on, Jeffrey. Stop it, man. Wow. Wow. And then you said your mother was a cheerleader for your dad.
Correct. Yeah,
Wow.
my father, he was a two-sport athlete, baseball and basketball, and my mother was a cheerleader, and everywhere we went, they were there. And it
Any
was any
adversities as a child? 'Cause I know you said the games was there, but besides that, did you come up with anything that you had to struggle to get through? Because you said it was very competitive. Was it only with your brothers and the younger ones, or what about the other little young men in the neighborhood?
Yeah, well, I was spoiled, brother Azam. You
Ooh,
understand what I'm saying? And I remember talking to my mother probably about a month and a half ago, and you talking about that struggle. As a young boy, right? There was a photo of my brothers and I that was taken. Two of them had the metal guns, brother Azam, and I had a rabbit's foot. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, where's my gun? You
right,
understand what I'm saying? Why do I have to have the rabbit's foot, man? You understand what
right.
I'm saying? So I can remember as far as being a young child, you know what I mean? And wanting to be like my brothers, it was like, hey, they were older, but I didn't understand that. I thought I just felt left out because I got the rabbit's foot. And
Right.
I spoke to my mother about that, brother, Azam, and she told me, I don't know what happened there because I tried to get all my kids the same thing.
Gotcha.
And I went for years thinking that I was shunned because I didn't have a gun like my brothers, only to find out that my mother told me, look, hey, for whatever reason, you got the rabbit's foot. And it was probably an oversight because I tried
And
to get all my kids the same.
so immediately, and it reminds me of what happens when you see something that you don't have. You now immediately didn't happen to you, where you compared yourself now. You know what I'm saying? And I know, the hurt that happens from that when we compare, we could take it and it could take us a place where we don't want to go, keep us there farther than we want to stay, and a price that we can't afford to pay. Because now, we either feel better than or less than, and usually in that given situation, it it can plant a seed of less than. Why I didn't get this. Is that safe to say?
Well, we talk about, acceptance. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I knew nothing about acceptance back there, brother Zam. You understand what I'm saying? And for whatever reason, we're talking about now, I understand that I can look inward. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Before, you know what I mean, it was always the outside things. You know what I mean?
gotcha.
Why? Why? You know what I mean? Comparing, being competitive. You understand what I'm saying? So it goes as far as back as elementary school because, of course, you got, kids that are smarter than others. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And, I was that guy that always just did enough, brother Azam, just to get by.
Wow.
Just enough to get by, to get those A's and B's. And you talk
Okay.
about that struggle, you know what I mean? That study habits, I didn't have good study habits. I
Mm.
just did enough to get those A's and B's. So that effort that it talks about, study habits, of course, affected me when I was able to go to high school and eventually go to college because I struggled in college because I never trained my eyes to read long periods of a time. And I needed glasses and didn't realize that I needed it. And I'm struggling, straining, trying to read these small bold prints. You understand what I'm saying? Realizing that I needed glasses and my
Wow.
eyes wasn't strong enough. When they gave me books and things to read, I struggled because I
Got-
told you I was that guy that tried to do the cliff notes, brother Azam. Give me the cliff
Okay.
notes. I don't want to read the book. I
Got
told you I wanted the
got
easiest
you.
off the way, man. Only to
Got
find
you.
out that came back and
So you want
backfired
to
on me.
go to the summary. and see how much you can get out of it. You know, and what you're sharing is so important because it reminds me of, you know, they have a thing that a lot of times the effort is usually better than the outcome at times, because your struggle will supersede anything anybody else do. Because and I have to share this because in our faith, right, it talks about how Allah loves the ones that struggle, where the one that make it easy for them, it ain't that deep, because the struggle is going to produce perseverance, right? And that's the thing that's going to really make you now excel, because you want to and not because you want to impress somebody else.
And just
That's
remind you,
very
like I
interesting that you
played
said that.
sports, right, Brother Zam? And when I went to St. Joseph's University, it was college at that time. You talking about a young man that was academically ineligible after my freshman year, meaning that, you know, I had to sit a whole year from playing basketball. And
Okay.
you really find out who your friends are, Brother Zam. You understand what I'm saying? When you're playing, you know, everybody's, oh, they're go Monkadu, there go Brother Zam. You know what I mean? You know, look at, he's busting them. So now I'm not playing, and all those same people fell by the wayside. You know, one of the hardest things for me to do was to come home, be in the neighborhood, and be labeled, you're stupid. You're going to flunk out. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I just thank God that I was able, you know, when I talked to my mother, she says, you know what you have to do. And just another part of application. You know, just apply what's going on and get a tutor, get the help that you need. And I was able to overcome and get that Bachelor of Arts degree, you know what I mean, in language. And I'm
Gotcha.
grateful for that.
And tell me the position in your in the sport that you played.
Well,
What
I
was
was the point guard. I was the
it?
table setter. You know, back then, everybody had roles to play, Brother Zan. And now, I mean, everybody's just athletic. They do their thing. But our team didn't need no shooters. And I was one of, you know, I came out, you know, of high school, probably the third leading scorer behind Gene Banks and Louis Lloyd. May he rest in peace.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So I was putting up numbers, Brother Zam. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Okay.
it wasn't a point that I couldn't score, but at that time, freshmen didn't start. So, and I told you I
Right.
was ineligible that following year. So I was able to get experience and come back and play that point guard position and distribute. I was a distributor, you know what I mean, to
Got you.
the centers and the forwards on the team. So I was the table setter.
So how long did it took for them to take you off the bench? Because I know sometimes there's it's called a
Well,
bench warming. Like
yeah,
if you ain't right.
after I mean, well, you learn, you know, there's a certain discipline because freshmen didn't play at that time, Brother Zam.
Mm,
So I took it out in practice on the Jokers because I couldn't start. So there's nothing like having somebody on your team that pushed you. So I was that guy to push you, you know what I mean? So you can become better, and at the same time, I'll become better. And that's
got-
what I did. So after my sophomore year, and I came back, and I was able, you know, to get through that academic ineligible situation. It was downhill from there because I had matured and my study habits had gotten better, and I
so
was
let me
able to do
ask
what I
you.
needed to do.
So how did your family begin to respond to you as you begin to excel in that area and school and all of that? What did that do to how your brothers looked at you and the younger siblings?
Well, it motivated them, but at the same time, we're talking about being a vision of hope, right, Brother Zam? Now, the
Yeah,
little brother is pushing the big brothers and being an example for the little sisters. You know what I mean? So, of course, we don't do none of this on our own, Brother Zam. We stand on the shoulders of a lot of people that mentored us, that
absolutely,
touched us, you know what I
absolutely.
mean, as we climb the ladder of success. And, you know, I always try to keep a healthy fear, you know what I mean, and where I came from. I don't want to ever forget where I came from. I'm a North Philly guy, you know
Mm,
what I mean, that grew up, you know what I mean, to able to do some things. And now I'm in a position to give back because I've been taught earlier it's about reaching back. And that's
absolutely,
what I'm trying to do today. Be that
absolutely.
ambassador, man, for the young folk to let them know that in order to educate, you got to be able to officiate. So
So
that's
I
what I
have
do
to
now.
ask. I have to ask. Right? Was there any Like, cause I know during those times a lot go on. You know, there's substance abuse, marijuana. Any experience coming with that?
Oh yeah, well, I was a creature of habit, and I had two older brothers, and of course they protected me. You know what I mean? And yeah, I dibbled in that. You understand what I'm saying? And it just got to the point where, um, we surrender, man. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like I thank God for a conscience.
Mm,
I've been taught early on. Right from wrong. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And I thank God that when something didn't sit right, you know what I mean? I hear my mother's words, God don't like ugly.
Hmm.
And that will always stop me in my tracks, stop me in my position wherever I was and say, that's wrong, man. You don't want to do that. You understand what I'm saying?
Got, got
And I found myself in some, compromising positions, but, I'm able, through, looking inward to understand that, look, hey, that good Lord that we talk about, man, you know
you.
what I
Yes.
mean, was always with me.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
he's with me as I speak.
So that's the teenage years. So as you get into 25 years old, what's life like now? 25, 30,
Well,
35.
I came out of St. Joe's and with a Bachelor of Arts degree in language. And I was drafted in the fifth round by the Indiana Pacers. Okay. And of course, that started a downward spiral once I realized that I wasn't good enough. And just plain and simple, because if I was good enough, I would have played or been drafted, you know what I mean, on the team. I felt pretty good about that because I called my brother George the night before and saying, looks pretty good, man. I like where I'm
Okay.
at.
Okay.
I like where I'm at.
Right.
Only to find out that, hey, man, life shows up. And we talk about acceptance all the time. They give you that plane ticket, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, back home. So now, of
Mm.
course, I felt shunned. And now I want to take it out on whoever I'm playing now. So I played 2 years, brother Azam. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I played in the Baker League for 1 year. Okay. And thank God for the Sunny Hill Community Involvement League, because that's where all, you know what I mean, my mentorship, my abilities, my athleticism and all that came from. And I played 1 year in the City League because I was fortunate, you know what I mean, to get a job with the Philadelphia Parking Authority in 1983, which,
Okay.
I'm retired from, now 8 years. So I put in 32 years,
Wow.
and I'm retired and I have a pension and I wouldn't trade it in for the world.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. So you played the ball. When did the referee come in? At what point?
Well, it's funny that you asked. Being employed at the Philadelphia Parking Authority, it was right next door to the Philadelphia Inquiry Building. Okay. And the late Phil Jasner, I don't know if you know that name. He was a beat writer for the 76ers. And we met at that hot dog stand right at Broad and Callawhill.
Mm.
And he mentioned NBA official at that time who was a St. Joe alumnus, Billy Oakes. Had refed in the NBA for years at that time, and he kind of suggested you might be a good referee, Jeff. You might want to consider that
Wow.
because it could be, lucrative. You know what I mean? It's a way to stay around the game, and people know you, and I think you'd be a good referee. And I went, nah, Phil. I
Mm.
was hard on referees, brother Azam. I was a fool to
Mm.
referee kind of guy. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, that's not cut out for me.
Right. Right.
And lo
Right.
and behold, that next day I started refereeing CYO in 1984.
Wow.
And it's been a hell of a ride since. So that's when I first started doing
Wow.
CYO
That's that's
voice
that's
in
awesome. That's awesome
1984.
because you said something so important because I too, and we both notice like sometimes we don't see in ourselves what other people see. Where they end up planting a seed with us, and then we come to love what it is that they seen in us. And it seemed like 30 plus years of doing it, it seemed like you have found your niche with that.
Yeah, I've been fortunate, and I really enjoy it. I call it an avocation. Being a former player and now being a D1 official for the last
Man.
27 years, um, you know, you put the work in, brother Zane, and good things happen. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And like I
Absolutely.
say, I sit here before you, you know what I mean, always paying homage, you know what I mean, that the people whose shoulders I stand on. And it's numerous
Okay.
of people, that are currently deceased and some people that are still currently living. So every game I go into, I take them with me.
Man, I feel your spirit with that because I too, and I love how you said we stand on the shoulders of others that did this before we got here that was encouraging to us. Y'all need to know we here at Bring It to the Table with my boy Jeffrey Clark. He's talking about how this life is, that transforming life, you know what I'm saying? Winning the game of life. Let's talk about that. What's that like for you now? Children, grandchildren. I heard you mention some children, like the first child and all that. What's that was like?
Yeah, I have one daughter, Camellia, and she's 43, and
Okay.
she's the love of my life. I mean, it's a blessing. She has four kids. Uh, Mayana, you got Jay Clark, you got Jay
Oh,
On, and you got Jonathan. So the J
okay.
the J name is in all of them, but
And all of them.
Mayana. So and I love them to death. My whole life. It's around them. I mean,
Okay.
being Papa. You know what
Who's
I
playing
mean?
basketball? Any?
Uh, Jay Clark is a baller. But right now he's currently playing football. Jonathan and Jay Clark are playing football, and
Okay.
just like my mother and father, you know what I mean. I'm there every game, every practice, or whatever it is. Pop going to show up. Sometimes
Wow.
I got to be to the side, brother Zam, because I get hyped up. You know
I
what I
can
mean?
imagine.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I seen shows where that, the reality show when the parents and they want to jump out there. Yo, what are you doing? Why do you call that? Like, yeah. Any excitement like that? You ever want to
well,
come out of the stands and
Well, it's
like,
funny you said that. My first game I ever refereed, I experienced that.
wow,
Where young kid, at the end of the game, kind of like threw up a long half court shot, and being as small as he was, of course, his momentum took him into the defensive player, and the father came out of the stands and gave me, every word underneath the sun that you'll never, you know what I mean. I hope you never referee another game in your life, and this and that and that and this, and that's where you make that phone call, brother Sam. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean, to share with your mentors what you experience, so they're able to share their experience with
absolutely.
you. And I'll never forget it. Caesar Williams, may he rest in peace. He said to me that if you can't do CYO, you might as well hang it up. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
There's water underneath the bridge. Go on to the next one. And that's what it's been about since 1984. Go on to the next one. You're not going to be perfect,
mm-hmm,
but you work hard to get plays right. You know what I mean? And just work on being a good play caller. And that's what I take pride in today.
and so it sounds like you winning in the game of life. You winning
Yeah,
the
it's
game of life.
about relationships, brother Zam. And we can't do this by ourselves, man. And
Absolutely
we
not.
talk about relationships spiritually. We talk about
Mm-hmm.
relationships with our family. We talk about relationships with others. You know what I mean? It's important that I understand that you never get too old to learn. You
Absolutely.
understand what I'm saying? And being open, you know what I mean, to what people saying. Like I told you, my uncle always told me, keep waking up, you'll see. And that's what I
Yeah.
tell people. What you see is if you keep waking up, you'll find out. But you got to keep waking up.
That's so cool. So what's with the book? Any book coming? Anything like that?
You know what? It was
Cause
mentioned to me.
after Doc B, if she was here, she'd be talking about that. Cause
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
It was
can't come
mentioned
up
to
here and
me,
say you ain't
and
got no book.
it's funny that you said that. You know, God bless my mother. She turned 90 years old in August,
Wow,
and we had a little boat ride, and you know, we had a documentary going on of that whole function, and
wow. Okay,
I believe something is in the works, brother Zam. It's just a
okay,
matter of putting it together, and
okay.
I have a story to tell.
Yeah,
And we're talking about hope, hearing other
right.
people's experience,
Absolutely.
and being a former player, that had an opportunity, you know what I mean, to get a scholarship, assist my parents with some of the monies that they didn't have to pay a full ride
Mm,
to go to a Catholic university, you know what I mean, to be able to graduate, you know, continue on in life and do something that I love to do. Um, I mean, This is year 27 for me officiating.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And I've been to two Final Fours. You're talking about the pinnacle, you know what I mean, of what your goals and aspirations are every season at the beginning. What are your goals, Jeff? You know what I mean? What are you expecting to achieve? You understand what I'm saying? So, of course, you lay your goals down at the beginning of the season and you try to attain them. And if you fall short, it's okay. But you at least have goals, something to shoot for. And that's what I've been doing the last 27 years.
Good stuff. I have to ask because you came up in a time where that we were shunned from certain stuff, trying to get in. You know what I'm saying? It's always harder for us to achieve what we want to achieve because of the red tape. Did you ever experience any of that where you felt like they was trying to block you from achieving and what you're doing now?
Well, there's politics in everything, brother Zan.
Yeah, that's
What I'm
what. Bring
saying.
it to the table. Bring it to the
The,
table.
the let me put it like this. I was fortunate enough to be athletic enough to be on a team. That team concept is so important because we always talk about together, everyone achieves more. This is not an individual thing. This is a team thing. And that's what I've been taught from day one. You know what I
Okay.
mean? There's another link. So don't be the weak link, Jeff. You know what I mean? You're part of
Right.
a team. You know what I
Right.
mean? When somebody's head is down, man, you encourage them to keep your head up.
Hey,
You know what I
hey,
mean?
hey,
Because I
hey,
was a motivator, man.
hey.
That's
Look
what
at
I
Doc
did. You know what I'm saying?
B in the
So,
house.
you know, it,
Hey,
it,
everybody.
it was it's you're talking politics. You see certain people get released from teams, and I tell
Right.
you, the hardest fall to me was, and the good Lord saw fit for me probably not to go to the NBA because He had other works for me to do. You
Got
understand
you.
what I'm saying?
Got you.
And when they gave me that plane ticket, that you're not good enough, brother Azam, that now you got to come back. You understand what I'm saying? I took that hard, like I was a failure because my hopes and dreams was to move my mother and father out of North Philly,
Right. You want that paycheck.
give them whatever they deserve for investing in me and my two older brothers and two younger sisters. So that was the ultimate plan from day one.
So that
Give
had to
your
do
parents
something to you,
something
right?
that,
I'm sorry
excuse
for
me.
cutting you off. So that had to do so because you already had a dream and an expectation, right? And then now it gets snatched from up under you. Then you got to come back and break the news. Or did they know the news already? Like,
Well, yeah, because I called my brother and I told him what transpired, and like I said, it's you talking about the politics involved. It's no explaining. I mean, you're not good enough, and that's
wow.
what it came down to. Because if I was good enough, I would have made the team. So I come back, and it was a learning lesson. And we talk about persevering, right? You know what I mean? You get knocked down once, you get back up. You
Can you
know?
hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear
Yes.
me?
can.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's your girl off the Doc B. She made it for the second half of the show. It's about to go
Yeah.
down.
So let me do my closing. Like that again.
Woo!
It's been an honor and a privilege. Your people that's out there bringing it to the table with Jeffrey Clark. Winning at the game of life. I was so thankful to be here with you, right?
Mhm.
So we got the queen. The queen is in the house right now.
Yes.
Off the Doc B is in the house. Y'all already
Yes.
know how it go. Bring it to the table. She is now here. She's gonna do the second half of this right here.
Yep.
JC, it's been a pleasure. I'm not going away. I'm here. Much
Yeah.
love and respect. Continue to do what you do.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
my
Well,
brother.
let me just thank our Lord. Let's thank our Lord, right, for this moment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I want to just say thank you so much to our co-host. So, Jeffrey, you don't know, but Azam Abdullah Azim has agreed to become my co-host. And I thought today, because you're a male, and this is the topic of sports, I thought today would be a great day to get him started, get his feet wet. And when I tell you, you did it. I listened to the whole thing. I went underneath my garage, parked my car. I popped in, I popped out. I kept hearing you. You did a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Azam Abdullah Azim, you are amazing. You are an amazing force. I think that Allah gave me the right co-host tonight. So thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for agreeing to come on. You really was fantastic. I mean, we can jump right in, folks, and let me tell you. And I mean, you were lit, wasn't he, Jeffrey?
Hey, he had the questions.
It's
He
just
had the
a
questions.
natural talent that you had. I did not prep him. I didn't give him any information. Just so you know this. This is how I know I picked the right person this time. Let me just speak to our audience because you all can't see the audience. I can see him from in the studio. So, hi, Lee. Thank you for joining. Hi, Carolyn. Thank you for joining. Hi, Anthony. Thank you for joining. Some of these people I never saw before. Hi, Bill. Thank you for joining. Hi, Willie. These must be your people. We got more people on Facebook than we ever had before right now. I know these are your people. YouTube is on. If you're in the chat, please click like and share. Invite someone to bring it to the table because guess what? It's going down tonight. And we had just got started. Let me tell you, the queen is in the building and I'm here with two kings. And we are going to set some more information out to you all about our referee. Wait, I said D1 player. I had to look that up, folks. I'm like, wait, D1, does that mean division, double? What does that mean? And these were all my questions. I'm like, tell me more about the game. I want to know about the game. And I think a lot of women who don't know the game and who don't know sports and is not into it. And this really is a special broadcast because I don't do broadcasts like this. But when you walked into my book signing and I was like, who is that? That's somebody special. I know him from somewhere. I see him and I kept trying to figure it out. So Azam, that's what happened. I was at my book signing downtown in Philadelphia, and he didn't buy one book, folks. He is a true supporter of the Black people. I need you to understand who you have in front of you, okay? He bought 2 books, not one. And he said, I'm going to give this to someone. And then he invited me back to do some more work. So this is nobody's plan but God's, for real. This is just the way it worked. And I heard some of the questions that you asked. And again, thank you so much, Azam. And thank you all for joining. I see you all. Oh, this got to be your. Somebody says, I'm going to read some of the comments, okay? Somebody was like, you was good enough, but you wasn't good. You was good, as they said, in politics and played the role. Played the role in the politics. That's what they saying. They said, I'm a witness that you paid your dues. That's Anthony talking to you, Jeffrey. He was like, yeah, I saw you. You paid your dues, buddy. You know, and it's so important for me to engage our audience because this is an interactive podcast. It's not something that we just sit around and don't let them know that we see them and we thank them and appreciate them for interacting with us on this day. So please click like and share. Go ahead, share 1,000 times, invite someone in. I'm going to the second set of questions. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Brother Jeffrey. And I heard you talk to him about the book. Guess what? I said the same thing to him. What's going on with your book? Did I not?
Yeah.
I said the same thing.
It's. I told Brother Zam, as long as you keep waking up, you'll see. So anything is possible, you know. And I was kidding with you because, you know, I read the book, and I told Brother Zam that how coming up, you know, I was that guy that wanted to do the cliff notes. Well, there's no cliff notes to the 3 C's. You gotta go in there and understand who Grandma Dynamite is. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about.
He read the book. Anybody know Grandma Dynamite? My grandkids call me. They think I am Dynamite. My daughter was talking about the Flintstones with them one day and told them who Grandma Dynamite on the Flintstones was. And that's where I got that name from. They just think the world of me. They know nothing about my active addiction, nothing about anything. They know a little bit about cancer because they was growing up and I had cancer and they supported me through COVID, but they don't know nothing about active addiction. To me, I'm the Dynamite. They refer to me as that. They never saw me high. They never saw me messed up. 1 cup of coffee a day, no cigarettes, no nothing. So I thank God for that particular opportunity. You have grandkids too, huh, Jeffrey?
Yeah, 4. And like I said, it's amazing because my wife, may she rest in peace. She was my high school sweetheart too, Brother Azam, and she was my cheerleader. You know, yeah, she was my cheerleader, and she had succumbed to ovarian cancer in 2013. You know, and on her hospice situation that she was laying there. The only thing she said to me was, "Spoil my grandkids, boo,"
Mm.
and that's what I continue to do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So when my daughter looks at me, you know what I mean, with
Mm-hmm.
the side eyes, I said,
Mm-hmm.
you can't blame your mother because I'm only good as my word, and I promise your mother that I will spoil your kids, and of course I got to spoil my daughter. So
Oh, yes,
she's in
that's
all that. So
beautiful.
I said, you just don't know how fortunate you are because if it wasn't for your mother, you'd have a whole harder time that you have right now. So I make it easy on them because that's what pop pops do. You know
Yes,
what I
they
mean? You
do.
take care of them babies. You take care of
Mm-hmm.
them babies.
Mm-hmm. Well, Azam, the audience is saying that yes, you are a great co-host. You're a plain old
Thank you.
natural.
Thank you.
That's what they're saying. You're a plain old natural. So now, Jeffrey, so okay, so you had this one career and you retired, and then you was D1 and you had that particular
Mhm.
experience, and now you're doing the referee and stuff. Emotionally, what is that like? Can you explain to the audience? I heard you talk about coming up and when everything started, when you took a turn, the gangs. I heard all that stuff. But emotionally, I mean, how do you cope with this referee stuff? Because I go to my grandkids' games and be like, hey, you should not be. I go in on the ref, like, you shouldn't do that. You're wrong. Like, how emotionally stable? Like, how do you do that?
Well, it's important that we understand it's a game. We lose focus. That it's a game that's played, you know what I mean, by kids. We're all kids at heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. And I think a lot of the parents live through their kids. You understand what I'm
Ooh.
saying? Because they're
Ah,
athletic enough, and now that's my key out of the hood. You understand what I'm
gotcha.
saying?
Ah,
And a
gotcha.
lot of people go through that, and I see that.
How
And
often? How often do
emotionally,
you see that?
it's not easy because it's if it was easy, everybody what I mean, will be signing up for it, and that's not the case. You
How
know what I mean?
often do you see that, Jeffrey? That most people living vicariously through their children to get and especially to bring them. It's like a come up. Like when we put drugs
Mhm.
down, we automatically coming up. If they get drafted into these teams and they're making this money stuff, like how often do you see that? And
Yeah,
is it
it's
people? And
bad.
is
It's
it?
bad. When you see the AAU
Mhm.
and what's happening with the kids in the AAU, they exploit the kids. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have some kids that are really talented. You know what I mean? If they don't have the right people in their corner, meaning two parents or a parent or somebody, you know what I mean, to protect them,
Mhm.
they can easily become influenced, and make bad decisions because people are not there for their well-being. They're
Mhm.
looking at what they can get from that kid because he's talented,
Mm, mm, mm.
and I don't see a lot of the AAU as I used to because what I explain to people is if they're any good or talented, I'll see them at the next level. So when they're introducing the starting lineups for
Mhm.
different universities, and I hear the announcer say, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Azim Aziz. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
Azam Azim. I'm like, oh, I got to get to him. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Find out where he from. And then when I cut the conversation with him, man, where you from? Yeah, I'm from South Philly. Well, I'm from North Philly. And that's where the conversation starts. You know what
Gotcha.
I mean? So
Mhm.
they have 4 years, 2 years, or whatever it is. But
Mhm.
that's when I see anybody that's talented that comes
Yeah.
up to the college level, from
Okay.
the high school level or from AAU.
So you coach all these levels?
Just college basketball.
Okay.
I started Division 3. Like
Okay.
anything else, you work your way up because it's a progression.
Well, hold on.
And
Tell me about these divisions. You said Division 1, so there's a Division 2 and a 3.
that's correct. You
Okay.
start Division 3, and as you move up the ladder of success, of course, there's a learning curve. There's experience that you have to gain because we always talk about in this application. You want to be a year late than a year too soon, meaning you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're not ready. You
Okay.
know, you don't want to move too fast. You want to experience some things because, of course, the higher the level, people don't realize the easier it is to referee. The
Mm-hmm.
lower level, you know what I mean? You got to blow the whistle
Okay.
because you got to enforce the rules.
Okay. I got it. Okay, I got it. So now let me ask you this. And can you please explain to the audience, because Bring It to the Table is a safe place where you can come and discuss anything you've overcome, conquered, survived, and how you're living beyond your dreams. And I heard our co-host talk to you about some of that stuff. But there's another question. Can you just explain to our audience about anything? I'm talking about the greatest thing that we know that you have survived because you're here with us today, and we know we're good at that stuff. We the thick skin type of situation, good cut from a good cloth, because we survived that stuff. But I'm talking about your greatest challenge, the greatest thing that, I mean, you overcame this thing, and then the conqueror in you. What would those two things be? Like, what is that thing that you really overcame? Because you're in this great place right now where one would say, I'm living my best life, right?
Well,
So, can you explain to the audience those two things?
the first thing is, and Brother Isaiah, when I was talking about that, when you start comparing yourself with other people,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about expectations,
Okay.
and I've learned through winning at the game of life, we have to look inward. You
Ah,
understand what I'm saying? And that's what I've learned. Everything prior to this day, okay, it seemed outward. I was looking for the outward things to fulfill the emptiness inside.
I got
You
you.
understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I've always had, a spirit about me that I didn't get here on my own.
Okay.
There was a spiritual being. There was, a power that we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That
Mm-hmm.
that that seen me through the adversities that I went through.
Okay, and so
So I
now
think
your conquering is giving. So, because to become a conqueror, what that mean to you to become a conqueror?
it's all a part of surrender. We
Mm-hmm.
talk about winning at the game of life, right? I
Mm-hmm.
see. I was going to ask you. You want me to call you Felicia, call you Doc B, or call you Grandma Dynamite? I don't. No. We'll leave Grandma Dynamite out. I'll call you Felicia. No, I think.
Everybody call me Doc B.
Okay, I'll call you Doc B. All right,
Okay.
but no, that portion of it, and I think uh, the whole aspect of being academically ineligible
Mm-hmm.
when I was at St. Joseph's University. That really, other than
Nice.
not making it to the NBA, I
Mm-hmm.
think that whole portion of the educational part of,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Nice.
nobody can do this but you, Jeffrey.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents can't help you now.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
friends can't help you now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? And
Mm.
I think the greatest uh, source of strength that I had was to believe that, Jeffrey, if you're going to be the first one in your family to get that college degree, it's
Mm-hmm.
time to buckle down.
Mm-hmm.
And we know about asking for help.
Yes.
And that was what I had to overcome. That, hey, look, my way didn't work. You know what I mean? Um, Trying to do something the easier, softer way,
Okay.
it's not
Gotcha.
going to work. We talk
Shortcut
about
guy. Don't tell me you was the
healing. Yeah,
shortcut guy.
yeah, we're talking about feeling, dealing, and healing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That process. I
Okay.
knew nothing about that then.
Okay.
Okay, because I was that sensitive guy that didn't know how to express himself
Mm-hmm.
or didn't understand what I felt. And we
Mm-hmm.
talk about how important it is to ask for help.
Okay, great. So now let me ask you this. So can you tell our audience, do you what recovery? You're in recovery. Can we ask you that? Do you consider
Yeah. I
yourself in
mean,
recovering from past traumas, past life experiences? Do you feel that you're in that space?
I'm always recovering.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's all about relationships. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? When I look back, um, there were bumps in the road. Okay. And today I understand, that I live through spiritual principles,
Mm-hmm.
and it's important for you to understand that I can always do better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
being open minded, we talk about it all the time. You know what I mean? It's important for me because
Yeah.
I told Brother Azam, you're never too old to learn. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm at right
All
now,
right. That's
trying to
good.
look
I
Good
inward.
stuff.
appreciate that.
Good stuff.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that was good. You got anything, Sam, before my next question?
Man,
Because
no,
I'm rolling.
good.
I'm
I'm
rolling.
feeling. I'm vibing with y'all. I'm vibing
Oh,
with y'all.
okay.
Just
All
spit
right.
your piece right here.
Okay, and so if I had to spend a day with my camera guy and we just come out and we're doing a documentary on Jeffrey Clark, which I really want to do so bad. One of these days, just bring my production team to Philly and just follow you all day. What would we see? What does spend the day with
Yeah.
Jeffrey? What does that look like for a person of your stature?
Well, right now, I would say the first thing, of course, is, I just thank the creator, you know what I mean? For waking up, not, what I mean, putting my shoes on my head, being in sound mind and body.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? You will see me get into some spiritual affirmations at
Okay.
the beginning of the day. You know what I
Nice.
mean? To set that tone that we
Nice.
talk about, to be in the right frame of mind. And
Mm-hmm.
I know how important mindset is. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We talk about a higher power, there's a lower power. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And, during the course of the day, I just understand that. See, I'm retired, Doc B.
Mm-hmm.
So, to have a choice, what I mean, on what you want to do during the course of a day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that difficult for me.
Okay.
I try to, because I told you, life is about relationships. I'm always dealing with people on a daily basis, whether or not it's in reaching back, whether or not it's helping, whether or not being in service, being of service.
Okay.
Talking to Brother Azam about it's always about reaching back for me.
Okay.
And
See, that's the conqueror in you. That's what I meant by the conqueror in you,
Mm-hmm.
because you can get yourself to a healthy place and live life on life terms beyond your dreams and soaring like an eagle. You can do that stuff. But see, a conqueror is not going to stay to self. They're going to go out there, right? And they're going to begin to impact the masses and bring people to the other side of this healthy place. And let me stop right there because we got new people who just joined us and somebody is going in. I think her name is Camelia Clark. She's like, yeah, Daddy, we love you. Go get him, Daddy.
Go ahead now.
Then we have someone named Clarence Armstrong. Thank you all for joining. They were new visitors here, Miss Lee, Mr. Lee, Thomas. So you should know you're on Twitter live right now. You should know that you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, 3 different Facebook pages, including my book page, and you're on my broadcast on YouTube, Bring It to the Table. Did I forget anything? Yes, LinkedIn. So all your colleagues on your professional LinkedIn page, they're all gonna see you. I'm gonna tag you in different things after we finish and everything. She's like, go, Daddy, your cheerleader is here. Okay, honey. Okay, so now, okay, here are his. Okay, so now, what was I saying? I just wanted to thank. I guess I really did. I want to thank them. So where do we go from here, Mr.
we were
Clark?
talking about if you follow me during the course of a day.
Right. And you stopped there. You stopped halfway in there, but go ahead. You can keep going. Where did you stop at? 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Are we at
Well,
4
4
yet?
o'clock in the afternoon. You understand? During the off season, I golf. I'm an avid
Oh,
golfer,
Oh.
and
nice.
I belong to the Senior Citizen Club. You understand what I'm saying?
Hey,
And
come on, Jeff.
I golf. I golf 3 or 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing because I golf with a young fellow who's 95 years old, Mr.
Wow.
Ollie Henderson, who's a former Negro baseball league player.
Wow.
Okay. I golf with another young fella who's 85 years old. okay, Mr. Ron Bond, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
I also golf with another young fella who's 75 years old, Paul Graham. So you got the young buck, Jeff, coming in there at 64. So of course, I hear all the stories, and it's a whole lot of stories, and
Nice.
what I'm in, I guess what I should expect as I get older,
Mm-hmm.
because the conversation is about health. It's about waking up. It's about doctor's appointments. It's about, I mean, taking care of ourselves,
Yes, that's what I
and
wanted you to
it's a
get to.
blessing. So you'll get me on the golf course. I'll come
Ni-
home, of course. We'll shower, eat. Um, I'll feed my spirit, um,
Mhm.
um, with meetings,
Okay,
okay,
great.
virtually,
That's what we do.
okay,
That's what we
and
do.
of course, by that time it could be 2 or 3 virtual meetings, it could be an
Mm-hmm.
in-person meeting, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but we're talking about being locked in. We're
Nice. I
talking
love
about
it. Oh
making
my
sure
God.
that
Awesome, awesome,
we are
awesome,
spiritually fed, so we
Yes,
can pass it on.
I'm telling you, you
awesome.
just warming my heart right
Yeah,
now. All the
yeah, you
stuff
did
that's
that.
coming out
He
is
did.
just
He did
music
that.
to my
He
ear.
did that
Didn't he?
octagon beat. He
Didn't
did
he?
that.
Oh
Yes,
my
he did.
God. I wish I was there just with a doc, with my whole production. I got bad. Listen, I'm in Atlanta now. I'm meeting some. It's like Black Hollywood out here. And I have met some of the most beautiful producers and directors and filmmakers, and it's just black it's the most beautiful thing. It's so, I feel liberated, like it's liberating to be here, you know what I mean? So I wish I can just get me a team and come on and follow you around and get some of that juicy stuff, because I know when you walked into that bookstore you were so the vibe you brought in that place, oh my God. And then you had the red on with the D1 hat and everything. I was like, he's a best, he's somebody important, you know? So tell the audience, and this is my last and final question besides when I do my closing question. Tell the audience, how many like stars and star basketball players or stars that you rubbed shoulders with? How about the millionaires that you rubbed shoulders with? Can we have some of that information, or is that too personal?
No, no, it's not personal. Like I said, it's about relationships. And we talked about it earlier. Um, no big eyes and little U's. Nobody's inferior, superior to anybody. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't get caught up into that as much as I used to, um, because I always judged my insides with the outsides of what people
Mhm.
had, and I don't do that today. We talk about our health being our greatest wealth, and that's what it comes down to. You got people that's, well off that are miserable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I understand that, but
yeah.
I've experienced, you know, uh, some professionals, in the Sunny Hill and the Baker League. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
of course, a lot of times now, back then, of course, I didn't think that I belonged in the same room, but
Ooh,
I don't
see?
think that way today,
Yeah.
because we can
Great.
get something from anybody. You know what I mean? And I don't, like I said,
Well,
the
that's
confidence
humble. You're
and
being
the
very humble.
ambassador, the ambassador in me understands that I got something to bring to the table. You
Hello.
know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
Hello.
Hello, talk that language, Jeff.
Hello.
Talk that language.
Well, you're better than me. I wish you can teach me some. Give me some of that humble pie right there. I need some of that humility, because I would have spit all the names out.
Yeah.
I rubbed soldiers with Charles Barkley one time, and then Kelly Rowland's father was on my show one time, and I'm like, oh my God, I get all excited and everything. And Raheem always tells me about that too. No, just calm down. They're people too. They're human beings and they're living in this, and I don't know why I'm like that. And one day I won't be, because I think I'm rich in spirit too. I know Azam, you're rich in spirit too, and we're all wealthy at heart. And so, if you had any final words for the children, anything that you want to say to someone who know without a shadow of a doubt that they are somebody, or that they're headed down the wrong path, how would you steer them right? And this will be your final remark. Thank you so much for joining us
Well,
tonight.
well, I'm gonna say this: if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so you got to know where you're going.
Wow.
Okay, Rotan Lee, scholar, may rest in peace. Always said, "Tell them what you know.
Yeah.
Tell them what you know." So what you know is what you experience. Okay, and
Okay.
I'm gonna just end with this. The difference between the weak and the powerful, the great and the insignificant is energy.
Ooh.
Invisible determination.
Ooh, I
This
love that.
quality will do anything that has to be done in the world, and no talents, no circumstances, no opportunities will make you a person without it.
Wow.
Nice.
There it is,
Philosopher,
folks.
thorough.
Nice.
There it is, folks. You
So
heard
we
it
talk
right
about
here
energy.
on Bring It to
We
the
talk
Table.
about energy, and y'all bring the
Bring it to the
energy,
table.
Dr. B.
Thank you so much for
Nice.
joining us. We love you, Jeffrey, and we wish you well in your endeavors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know you're invited to Happy Campus 40th. Okay. God willing, we'll see all of you next week. Oh my goodness, we got a beautiful lineup coming. Beautiful lineup coming. So please stay tuned. Doc B is going to be out a lot in October. I'm going to be turning it over a lot to Azam. I'm on tour. I'll be traveling to various places, Seattle, Washington, New York at some point. And I'm getting some other spiritual stuff done. So I'm going to probably be out a lot in October. Azam, it is all going to be yours, your topics, your people. I got two already lined up, but we'll have to talk about that at another time. Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for coming on.
Thank you,
We really
Azam.
do
Good job.
appreciate
Good job,
you.
Azam. Thank you.
Love and
You
respect.
did an amazing job. An amazing job. Thank you
you.
so much. So I will see you all in I guess I'll come back on and give me 2 weeks. But Zam, it's on you next week. Good night, everybody.
God willing.
Good night.
Thank you all for
Thank
coming.
you, Doc B. Thank you,
You're
Azam.
welcome. Thank you. Thank
Peace.
you,
Good
Jeffrey.
night.
All right.
All
Peace.
right. Good night.